New you, perhaps. Melanie here, teaching Monday's class. Hope we're going to have lots of fun today. Thank you for tuning in. Feel free to shout out and say hello, whoever is in the room learning with us today. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over today's lesson plan. So for our first class, we have grammar, and we're studying comparatives and superlatives. This is a pretty interesting, fun grammar point to study. And second class, we're going to be working on vocabulary, specifically similes, which is similar to comparatives. So for example, my father, he is as strong as an ox. An ox is a big cow, by the way. They're very strong. So we're going to do that for the second class. Third class, I'm going to explain your writing assignment, and I prepared a true story for you guys. So tune in for the third class to hear an interesting run-in with nature I had some odd 7 years ago. Okay, so just wondering, how was your weekend, everybody? Did you get up to anything special? Well, because of the whole COVID thing, I didn't do very much special personally. Yesterday, I did some exercise at home with my husband for about 40 minutes. And we sat at home, watched some movies, and played some video games. Very simple, chill weekend. Let me know if you got up to anything. Okay, so let's start off with the grammar part of our class today. So I'm going to explain how comparatives and superlatives work, as well as the differences between these two. I'm going to be following this sheet here. I'm going to be following it fairly closely, so you might find it helpful if you pull this sheet out from your Monday folder and just follow along. Okay, so let's begin. What is a comparative? Well, you are probably familiar with this grammar form, even if you don't recognize this word. So I'm going to give a real life example. My sisters, both of my two sisters, are taller than me. So this is my older sister. Her name is Michelle. I'm just going to put M. This is me. And then this is my younger sister, Stephanie. She's like the tallest. Sorry, I should make Michelle a bit taller. So this is me. These are my two sisters, and they are both taller than me. So this is what a comparative is. You've probably used this and seen this quite a few times in your life. So I'm going to explain how to do a comparative. All right, so first off, when we want to do a comparative, usually we need an adjective. So the adjective I'm going to use is an adjective that has one syllable and E at the end. So my example is cute. So what's a syllable? A syllable is kind of like how many parts a word is made up of. So for example, cute has one syllable, cute. But what about the word happy? So the word happy has two syllables, happy. Cute, one syllable. So when I write down syllable, that is what I am talking about. Now, if you have any questions throughout this explanation, just let me know at any time and I'll answer your question for you. Okay, so when I want to make a comparative, change this adjective, cute, into comparative form. So what I have to do is plus R. This is a plus sign. Some of these are going to look slightly mathematical, so please bear with me. I'm trying to keep the writing as limited as possible. So basically, cuter. So for example, in my, oops, sorry, I totally smacked my mic there. Sorry if that hurt your ears. In my opinion, I think dogs are cuter than cats. So that's just my opinion. Here's a cat. But personally, I think dogs are cuter. That's just my opinion. Maybe you think cats are cuter, and that's totally fine. So that's a comparative. Excellent. So I think you guys get the idea. Now, okay, yeah, let's keep going with comparatives. I'm going to fill out the superlative part later. Let's just keep it kind of focused on one thing for now. All right, I'm going to get rid of my, actually, no, I'm going to leave that up there in case we have any new students come in halfway through class, so then they understand what's going on. Okay, next. Okay, so next word we're going to talk about is one syllable, one vowel, one consonant at the end. Okay, you guys know what a consonant and a vowel is, correct? Well, I'm going to just give you a quick example. So let's talk about the word hot. H-O-T, hot. All right, so if we remember, the vowel is O. A-E-I-O-U. Those are all vowels. Anything that is not A-E-I-O-U is a consonant. So we got vowel, consonant. Okay, so basically words that have one vowel and one consonant at the end. For example, we could say hot. Let's use hot. And maybe big. So we got two words. What you are going to do is plus one more consonant plus ER. So for example, hotter. So you see I added an extra T at the end. And what about bigger? B-I, and we're gonna put two G's, bigger. So this is how we make comparatives with words that have one vowel and one consonant at the end. So far, let's see, what do we have? E at the end, you're gonna add an R, cuter. One consonant at the end, add an extra consonant, hotter, bigger, plus ER. Okay, again, if you feel lost, just let me know and I can slow down or re-explain something. Okay, what's next? Okay, next. One syllable doesn't end with E. So for example, let's say mean. Mean, someone who is not nice. So what do we do? This one's pretty simple. Just add ER. And then it becomes meaner. So for example, I think cats are meaner than dogs. Because cats, sometimes you pet them and then they go, whoosh, they just swipe out at you for no reason. So in my opinion, cats are meaner than dogs. What do you think? Which animal is meaner? Feel free to let me know in the comments if you like. All right, and let's see, just two more rules, I believe. Two syllables. Two syllables ending in Y. So for example, remember what I told you before with happy? Two syllables, happy. So if it has two syllables and ends with Y, what you're gonna do is Y becomes I, and then you're going to add ER equals happier. For example, to me, I think dogs always look happier than cats. Cats don't look that happy to me sometimes. I think dogs always look happier than cats. I'm a little bit biased towards dogs, excuse me. Okay, and last one. Okay, so I'm gonna say goodbye to the dog and the cat because they're taking up space, unfortunately. Last rule, two or more syllables not ending in Y. So I'm going to give two examples. So we have, for example, awful, awful. So that's two syllables, but there's no Y at the end. And I'm gonna also put beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's three syllables. So what's gonna happen is you're going to add more before the adjective. So this is a bit different from these guys up here. So what you're going to say, for example, is more awful, more beautiful. Okay, now let's think of some example sentences. Okay, so I'm gonna draw a little picture. 2 times 18 equals, like, I'm really bad at math, but maybe my sister, she's better at math. Equals MC squared. I'm just making this kind of stuff up. So I could say, let's see. I'm more awful at math than my sister. Sorry, this kind of got a little bit too low. Let me know if you cannot see anything and I can like rewrite and rearrange my board. I think it's getting a bit messy, so I'm gonna erase this in a second. So I'm more awful at math than my sister. And for beautiful, okay, I'm going back to dogs and cats, I'm sorry. I think dogs are more beautiful than cats. That's just my opinion. Again, I know, bias towards the dogs. Okay, so these are comparatives. Just kind of like a basic rundown. Now, we're gonna move on to cannot speak, pardon me. Superlatives. Okay, what are superlatives? I'm glad you asked. All right, we're gonna say goodbye to my sisters for now. Thank you for being such good volunteers, dear sisters. Okay, so when we're talking about superlatives, we're kind of think about number one, like the most intense situation. Maybe that's not the best way to describe it. Let me write out an example though. Okay, this pen not working so well, that's okay. All right, humble brag. My husband is the nicest guy ever. All right. So, okay, this is just like maybe I'm biased because he's my husband, but he is a very nice guy. So, this is the superlative form. So, think about it like, okay, here's the earth. And, you know, on the earth, there's like many people. Many people. So many people. You can't count them. Let's say this is my husband. My husband. And he is like the number one nicest guy in the world. That is what the superlative means. So when you're thinking of superlative, think of like Superman. Superman is the strongest, fastest, most powerful human ever. So just think of something that goes to the extreme. Superman, superlative. That's kind of how I remember it. Hopefully it helps you too. All right, so that is superlative. How do you form superlative? Glad you asked. All right, so when you do superlative, you're always going to add the right before the noun. So just remember, always add the, because there is only one person or thing that you're talking about that can be this certain adjective. So for example, the tallest building in the world is Burj Khalifa in the United Arab Emirates. There is no other building that is taller than the Burj Khalifa. Blech, I'm probably not saying it right. I'm sorry. Really big tower in the UAE. There's only one tallest building in the world. So that's why you say the. So I'm just going to put plus the at the beginning of all of these. Plus the plus. Oops, I did that wrong. Plus the. Okay, I think you get it. So here we have cute, cuter. All right, so we already have E, so for cutest, so we're gonna add the and add ST. So the cutest. For example, what is the cutest animal in the world? What do you think? For me, I think the cutest animal in the world is the raccoon dog. In Japan, it's also known as the tanuki, but it looks like a raccoon. It's a dog, but it's really fluffy and it makes really cute sounds. So that's why I think the cutest animal in the world is the tanuki or raccoon dog. How about you? What do you think is the cutest animal in the world, in your opinion? Please type it out and let me know anytime during the class. You can tell me the answer like 1 minute from now, 2 minutes from now, but I want to know, what do you think is the cutest animal in the world? Okay, now one more consonant, ER, hotter, bigger. Okay, so the plus EST. Oh, and we keep the same rule where we add one more consonant. So for example, we're gonna say the hottest. So don't forget that extra T. The biggest. The biggest. Don't forget the extra G. Blip. So you'll notice that the rules are quite similar to the comparative form. You're just kind of adding a little bit of something at the end. All right, question number 2. Where is the hottest place you have ever been to? Where is the hottest country or city you have ever been to? For me, the hottest country I've ever been to, I think, is Thailand. When I was living there for 10 months, Sometimes it was really hot and I would sweat so much just from walking. I would go outside, 5 minutes later, boom, hot, sweaty mess instantly. It was really bad. So I was about 2 hours west of Bangkok in Thailand. So that part of Thailand gets really, really hot because we're not really close to the ocean, unfortunately. And we're not close to the mountains either. It was a flat, hot area. So that was the hottest place I've ever been to. How about you guys? Where is the hottest place you have ever been? Let me know in the comments at any time. Okay. Now, comparative with one syllable ending with E. So, mean, meaner, the, we're gonna add plus EST. So, meanest. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch to black after this, unfortunately. I was hoping to keep it color-coded just to make it easy to understand, but I think I have to retire the blue pen for now. Okay, so add EST at the end. So the meanest. So for example, the meanest person I ever met was someone who was living in Thailand with me, actually. So when I was working in Thailand, I had a coworker. She was not very nice. She was a little bit mean, not super mean, but she was kind of mean to me and to other people. She didn't say very nice things. She always put other people down. So that's the meanest person I ever met. How about you? Who is the meanest person you have ever met? Or you could even think of a celebrity. Who do you think is a mean celebrity? Maybe it's not someone you met in person, but if you have a mean story about the meanest person, feel free to let me know in the comments. Okay, almost done. 2 syllables ending in Y. So here, Y turns into I plus ER, happier. So, okay, I'm gonna go to red. So it's gonna be kind of funky colored in here. So once again, we're gonna take the Y and it's gonna turn to I. So Y turns to I plus EST. All right, yeah, you're kind of getting the idea. Like the rules are pretty simple for this. So for example, happiest. Okay. So here's another example question. What can you think of the happiest time in your life or one of the happiest moments in your life? For me, I think one of the happiest moments in my life was when there's quite a few happy moments. I'd say one of the happiest moments in my life was when I went camping with my husband. This was about 4 years ago. We went down to the United States and we got a really beautiful camping spot right by the lake, like the most beautiful camping spot. And yeah, we had a campfire, we played a ukulele and sang songs and roasted hot dogs and marshmallows on a fire. Yeah, I just felt very happy and my husband looked really happy. So that is one of the happiest moments in my life. What about you? What was one of the happiest moments in your life? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Okay, last one. Let's divide this. Okay, so this one, you're going to add the and most, and then your adjective. Adjective. So, for example, we're going to say the most awful or the most beautiful. The most beautiful. Okay. so what was the most awful thing you've ever eaten? What is the most awful thing you have ever eaten? For me, the most awful thing I've ever eaten, like the thing I just hate the most, is liver. I don't know if you know what liver is, but it's like people have it and like most animals have it. But it kind of looks like this. Liver. Anyway, to me, it just tastes absolutely awful. I can't stand the taste of it. So I've tried it a few times, but every time I tried it, I gagged. I was like, I couldn't eat it. Just a really awful taste for me. So liver is the most awful thing I've ever eaten. How about you? What is the most awful thing you have ever eaten? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so that is the basics of the grammar today. I'm going to erase this board because it's getting a little bit busy, a little bit messy, and I'm almost done explaining, but I just want to go over a couple of what was it called? Irregular verbs. So irregular verbs, that means verbs that are not, they don't work the same way as most verbs. They're special verbs. They're a bit different. Okay. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. And get rid of this. Okay. And we're fresh, starting fresh again. Okay, adjective form. Let's see. First, we have good. Okay, so adjective is good. Adverb form is well. So, remember, adverbs usually go after a verb. Not always, but pretty much almost all the time. For example, he speaks English well. So basically it means good, but usually it's used with a verb. Okay, so when we're doing comparative, I know we are doing a lot of plus ER, so do you think this is correct? And then superlative, good, gooder, goodest. Do you think this is correct? You could just type in yes or no. But basically the answer is no, it is not correct. We don't say gooder. So there's only a few verbs that are going to be special like this, so don't worry too much. Okay, so instead we say better. So this is what I mean by irregular. The verb form completely changes when you're doing comparative and superlative. So I'll give you a quick example. I like dogs better than cats. So going back to dogs and cats again, I know, kind of boring. So that means goodest, also not correct. What we're going to say is best. And here's another example. Of all animals, I like wolves the best. All right, so I do like dogs better than cats, but my favorite animal, my number one favorite animal is wolves the best. Okay, again, let me know if you have any questions about these. I'm gonna write down irregular, just so we're clear. All right, next, we have the opposite of good is bad. Da, da, da. Bad. Oh, man, these pens are just not loving me today. All right. So bad, and that's the adjective. Sorry, these are all gonna look kind of red for now. And then badly is the adverb. All right, and so do we say bad, badder, baddest? Is this how we say it? You probably know the answer. Correct, not correct? The answer is not correct. We don't say bad, badder, baddest. We say bad, worse. Okay, so I'm going to erase these example sentences. Okay, let's think of a good example. Let's see. I think liver tastes worse than, oh, what's something else that's kind of gross? I think liver tastes worse than green peppers. I don't like green peppers that much, but I would eat 10 pounds of green peppers any day over liver. All right, so of course we don't say baddest. What we are going to say is the worst. The worst. Okay. So, for me, liver is the worst food ever. Bleh. I don't like it. Not one bit. All right. Hope we're doing okay so far. I'm gonna give you guys maybe 2 more. Okay, so next we have little. Okay, so when I refer to little, typically it's like a little bit of coffee, or I want just a little bit of tea, please. So are we gonna say little, littler, littlest? Not quite, unfortunately. We are going to say less. Okay. So what we would say is, my sister, let's see, my sister eats rice less than me. So I eat a lot of rice, maybe 3 times a week. When I make dinner, I cook rice. My sister, not so much. I think she likes bread more and some other things. Now, the least is what we say here. The least. Okay. Let's think of a good sentence. I think this is going to be a bit of a weird example. BC is the least affordable. Is the least affordable province in Canada, unfortunately. Okay. So that means it's the most expensive. It's the least affordable. This is because it's expensive to buy a home or to rent a home. Food can be kind of expensive, especially if you want to go out and eat a meal. It's pretty expensive. Gas is expensive too. Many people want to live in BC, so it's not a very affordable place, unfortunately. However, I think it is one of the most beautiful places in Canada. But there are many beautiful places in Canada, so. Okay. That is it, I think. So let me know again if you have any questions about this, and I can go over them before the end of class. For your reference, you don't have to pull this out right now, but you probably have a long list, And it's useful because it shows you, the adjectives, and it shows you the comparative form, and it shows the superlative form. So if you ever just kind of want to quickly review, you can look at this stuff really quickly and get an idea of how these comparatives and superlatives work. But again, don't pull this out right now. You don't have to. It's really long. We're not really going to look at this right now. It's just for your reference. What I would like you to pull out, though, is this guy here. Please take this sheet out. It should say comparison of adjectives, adverbs of manner, and there should be a picture of some people, the pyramids, the Olympics, and a book. So please get this out while I erase the board of all this mess. Alrighty. Okay. Goodbye superlatives. And goodbye this sentence. Anybody out there? Okay. Right. Okay, let's go ahead. So number 1 has already been completed for us. These are all just comparatives. So number 1, an elephant is stronger than a kangaroo. This is probably pretty easy to understand. An elephant's much bigger and a kangaroo is much smaller, so the elephant is stronger than the kangaroo. Okay, so let's do number 2. Our teacher is blank, that film star. Okay, so number 2, our teacher is that film star. Okay, so we have the word beautiful. So how many syllables is that? Beautiful. That's 3 syllables. So that means we can't say beautifuler, unfortunately. We don't add ER, but we have to add something else at the start. So there's 3 things we have to add. Boop, boop. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some hints. I'm going to put beautiful in the middle. So we're not going to change beautiful, but there's one thing we have to add here and one thing we add at the end. What could it be for a comparative sentence? Any guesses? Any thoughts out there? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, and the answer is our teacher is more beautiful than that film star. I did not make the sentence up, by the way. So that is how you do comparatives with 3 syllables. Okay, let's try number 3. School is something something a hospital. And the word is noisy. So noisy, that means really loud, like ah! So a school is blank blank a hospital. What do you think is the answer for this? I'm going to let you think about this. Let's see, noisy. This is how many syllables? Noisy. 2 syllables. It ends with a Y. So think about how we can turn it into a comparative. I'm going to leave it blank for now while I write out number 4. Jane's hair. Jane's hair is blank blank yours. Your hair is what they mean. And then the word we're looking at is long. That's the adjective. Okay, so Did we get any answers here? Oh, I see someone typed in noisier than. Very good. Thank you. Excellent. Noisier. Remember, Y turns into I plus ER, noisier than a hospital. Don't forget to add than because that helps make the comparison between two different nouns. Good. All right. And did anyone try to do number 4? Jane's hair is something yours. Long. Let's see. This is one syllable, long. So all we have to do is add ER. So that means, yes, I see someone wrote longer. Yes, thank you. Jane's hair is longer. Longer, don't forget, than. Longer than yours. All right, so I hope this is clear so far. Again, don't be afraid to ask me some questions if something is a little bit confusing. Okie dokie, how are we doing for time? Not bad, not bad. Okay, we're gonna do, I think we are good. So this was the comparative section. We just did the first 4 together, but I want to make sure we do some superlatives before the break as well. So the rest of part A, please do it by yourself just to get some practice at home, okay? So please practice the rest of this at home. For now, we're going to move to part B. So I'm going to erase all this stuff. Let's see, we got some pictures. Number 1. Okay, so we have to fix the order of the sentences, and we also have to turn the adjective into a superlative. So there's a lot of stuff we gotta do. Okay, so as you can see, number 1, we have the girl. Tall. This is the adjective we want to change, by the way. Of the 3. So that means there's 3 of them here. So if we want to make a superlative sentence, we have to say, the girl is the tallest. The tallest of the 3. The 3 people. Okay, so that is what we have to do. All right, are you guys ready? Let's give it a try. Actually, I'll leave number 1 up there. Number 2, the pyramid. That is not how I spell pyramid. Pyramid, pardon me. The pyramid. Slash. Ancient. Of the 3. Once again, we have 3 things. Sorry, I forgot to mention earlier, superlative is used when you're comparing 3 or more things, while comparative is used for 2 things typically, between 2 things. Okay, so here we have our pyramid, and we have 2 other buildings. Now, pyramid, number 1, ancient. Ancient means old, like really old. So, what do we want to say? I'm going to help start you off. So here's the answer, or part of the answer. The pyramid is of the 3. So remember, if it's 2 syllables, but there is no Y at the end, we don't add EST at the end. We have to do something else. So I'm gonna leave that blank for now, and I'll let you try to fill it in. I'm gonna write out number 3 in the meantime. Okay. And number 3. This athlete Good. Number 1, good. Athlete in the world. Athlete in the world. Okay. He's won the Olympics. He's won a gold. He's won many golds. So the answer is this athlete is in the world. Okay, so did anyone get an answer for number 2? The pyramid is, I'll give you guys a hint, the something ancient. So remember, we don't say ancientest, we say the, begins with an M. Oh, someone wrote most, thank you. The pyramid is the most ancient of the 3. Excellent, thank you. Okay, how about this one? Question number 3. This athlete is, so remember, good is an irregular verb. So we don't say gooder, goodest. We can't say the goodest athlete in the world. I will tell you that much now. So this athlete is, I see someone wrote the best. Very good. Thank you for your answer. Nice job. The best. The best what? The best athlete. Don't forget to put this at the end is the best athlete in the world. Okay. Nice, nice. Okay, I think we have time for one last one. Let's get rid of number 2. And we're gonna do number 4, and then I think it's gonna be break time. 4, okay. The hardest month to spell, February, even though we call it February. February, short, month, in the year. Okay, so this is the adjective you want to change. February is month in the year. Okay, so because this is 1 syllable, short. So that means we can add EST at the end. So, what do you think the answer is? February is of the year. And I see someone has written their answer out, and that is correct. Nice. February is the shortest. February is the shortest month in the year. Good. All right. Good stuff, guys. So I think we are coming up towards our first break. And please let me know. You can let me know in the next class if you have any questions or troubles with the grammar that I explained to you today. But we are going to review the grammar on Thursday, I believe. So don't get too nervous if you don't completely understand the grammar. Again, it would be nice if you used a couple of grammar points in your assignment, which I will explain later. So if you do have questions, please let me know today. Okay, guys, so we're going to have our break, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Enjoy your break, and see you soon. Right, okay. problem. Thank you. Oh, really? Oh, that's good. I feel like it's more boring, but... Hello everybody and welcome back. All right, we're into the second part of our Monday. So, as I said, we are going to do some similes. So, similes are basically, they're quite similar to comparatives, except you're not really comparing one thing to being more, being bigger or stronger than something, but you're kind of making a sort of statement that says two things are equal. So, for example, my dog, that I don't actually have, I wish I had a dog, but my imaginary dog is as big as a wolf. All right, I got a big dog here. Same size as a wolf. So this particular comparison is stating that these two things have the same size. It's not bigger than a wolf, but it is the same size as a wolf. Okay, so when we are doing similes, think of them as they're kind of like idioms or figures of speech. We have a lot of similes that we say to compare somebody to like an animal or an object. So, let's get started. Have you ever been compared to an animal or been compared to an object? Okay, so I would like you guys to pull out this sheet here. Now, these similes, there are so many of them. I've just chosen 13, so we're gonna try and do 13 of them, because there's no way we can cover all of these. But if you're interested, you're more than welcome to come in, try and give these a try. Yeah, so feel free to browse through the rest of these in your free time. All right, hello Diffie, welcome to the class. This class I'd say, yeah, maybe lower intermediate, sometimes intermediate. Yeah, this is probably about lower intermediate. As for when our school will be open, unfortunately, I cannot say. The reason that we're doing this online right now is because of the whole COVID-19 virus going around. So unfortunately, our school is closed until further notice, and we're just doing online classes. When our school does open again, we'll be sure to send out a message and let everyone know. So fingers crossed we'll open again soon. In the meantime, definitely feel free to follow along with our online classes. Okay, so getting back to this. Similes, let's see. Like I said, I chose 13 similes. First simile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just write only the first half of the simile, and then I'm going to draw a picture of the second half, and you have to guess what I'm drawing. So the first one, as blind as a... Okay, so do you guys know what blind means? It means you can't see. No problem, Diffie. Right. I'm gonna draw a picture of an animal. Usually it's black or brown. What animal is this? Take a guess. I hope you guys can get an idea of this picture. All right. As blind as a... What animal is it? This is a... Yes, somebody wrote bat. Thank you. As blind as a bat. What does as blind as a bat mean? That basically means you can't see at all, or you have very bad vision. So, For example, my mother is as blind as a bat when she doesn't wear glasses. Oops, doesn't glasses. Doi. Okay, doesn't wear glasses. Okay, as blind as a bat. All right, so when my mother wears glasses, she can see, she's fine. But when she doesn't wear glasses, she can't see. She's as blind as a bat. All right, so I hope you guys got the idea of this. While I explain these similes, at any time, please let me know if you want me to give any more examples or to give another explanation. Okay, next simile. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to draw a picture for part of the simile. Okay, let's see. What other simile do I have? Oh, this is a good one. This is a simile we use very often. Busy as a bzz. Ooh, what could I be drawing? Bzz, 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 bzz. What is this? Bzz, bzz, bzz. Okay, there's no way that nobody can guess what this is. I think I did a pretty darn good drawing. As busy as a, what animal do you think this is? I'm going to draw another simile in the meantime while you guys think about this and give me an answer. Okay. As clean as a, keep guessing for this one, guys. I'm just drawing the next one. This one might not be as easy. And the answer is as clean as a, somebody said bee. Thank you. As busy as a bee, not as clean as a bee. As busy as a bee. Okay. So what does busy as a bee mean? Well, kind of obviously. It means very busy. So one example is my little sister. So as busy as a bee. Basically that means you're super busy. So for example, my younger sister, she is as busy as a bee. She makes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She works and she goes skiing and she goes walking and jogging with her dog. She does many things. So that is as busy as a bee. How about you? Are you as busy as a bee? Oh, let's see. We got a question. Had an Irish teacher. Politicians are as crooked as a dog's leg. That's not something I think I've heard it once or twice, but it's not something I hear very often in Canada. I think some people might use it. For me, I haven't used it too often, but I do understand what you mean. Like, that is a pretty good simile. All right, thank you for the question. Now, what about this one? This might be a bit trickier to guess because this is not really easy for me to draw. So I'm gonna give you a hint. This is something you might wear it around your neck, and teachers might wear this. And when they want to get someone's attention, like they want to get a large group of children to follow them, or like for sports, they will go beep beep. Referees use it in sports. That's a better example. Do you guys know what this is called? I'll give you a hint. Starts with a W-H. Clean as a, what do you guys think? Maybe some of you don't know this word. This is not a word we use super often in English, except when we use this idiom, then we use it. Clean as a whistle. So this is an idiom that you will hear pretty often, or at least I hear it pretty often. So as clean as a whistle, basically that means really clean, perfectly clean. So for example, My husband and I, when we wash the dishes, I do an okay job. However, my husband, he is really good at washing the dishes. He makes sure each dish is as clean as a whistle before he puts them away. I could learn a thing or two from him. So that is what clean as a whistle means. How about you? Actually, what about your home, your house? Is it as clean as a whistle? Or is your house kind of messy? It's okay. You don't have to feel ashamed if your house isn't as clean as a whistle. My house isn't. It's fine. It's normal to have a slightly messy house. All right, we're gonna say bye-bye, busy as a bee. And we'll say goodbye, clean as a whistle. Okay. What else? Let's see, what do we have here? Busy as a bee, as clean as a whistle. Oh, as cold as ice. Oops, I was not supposed to say that. As cold as, hopefully you didn't hear that last part. Okay. This is kind of hard to draw. Okay. Whew. Okay. This is something that goes into your drink. Or you might find this in cold parts of the world. Maybe not the easiest drawing, but what is this? You can see it in the winter time when it snows sometimes, or you can see it in the mountains, or when you're skating. What are you skating on top of? You are skating on top of ice. Thank you. Somebody said ice. As cold as ice. So this can be kind of almost an idiom. Like when someone is cold, like it's not like this, like we're not talking about this kind of cold. We're kind of talking about someone's personality. Like someone who's cold, they don't really give you the time of day. They don't smile very much. They're not very friendly or kind. Like they might just ignore you. So for example, let's just do a made-up person. Sheila is as cold as ice. She never likes to talk to anyone. Talk to anyone. So that is what as cold as ice is. Are you as cold as ice? Or do you know anybody who is as cold as ice? For example, when I was a teenager, I think I was as cold as ice. I really didn't like people. I really didn't like talking to people. I didn't like looking at people. If people came and tried to talk to me, I'd be like, I don't know, go away. Like, I just didn't want anything to do with people. So I was as cold as ice. Yeah, not the best personality traits. Luckily, when I was like 16, 17, I got a bit of a reality check and I figured out, okay, maybe I should stop being a jerk and try to be a bit nicer. So yeah, I think I've gotten a bit nicer. I don't think I'm as cold as ice anymore. But yeah, let me know if you know anybody who's as cold as ice. Or maybe you used to be as cold as ice. Let me know in the comments. Okay. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. What else do we have? Oh, as cunning as a fox. Ooh. Oh my God, I keep saying it out loud. Okay, but maybe you didn't hear that. Cunning as a, okay. So I'm gonna draw an animal. Let's see if you can guess what it is. Woo, has a big fluffy tail. It's very beautiful fur, it's very cute. Maybe you have these in where you're from. What animal is this? What do you guys think this is? It's like a dog, but it's much smaller. Smaller than most dogs. Usually it kind of has a reddish, brownish, orange fur. And big fluffy tail. Maybe has black ears. What do you think this is? Oh, I see someone wrote fox. Yes, it is a fox. Good job. Cunning as a fox. All right, so what does cunning mean? Cunning means like, it's kind of similar to smart, but it's not always a positive way to say it. Like, it also means like sneaky. Like, if somebody knows what they want, they know how to get it. And they might not get it in the nicest way. So, for example, maybe there's somebody you know and he keeps asking you for money and he promises that he's going to pay you back and he's going to pay you back more money. He'll be like, hey, can I borrow 20 bucks? Please, I promise I'll give you 30 bucks next time to make up for it, okay? And you're like, sure, you give him 20 bucks, thinking you're gonna get 30 bucks, but he never gives you 30 bucks. He doesn't even give you 20 bucks. He gives you nothing. So yeah, don't trust him with your money. Don't trust him with your money. He's as cunning as a fox. Cunning as a fox. So he will get his way and he will get what he wants if he needs to. That's kind of what cunning means. Do you know anyone as cunning as a fox? Are you as cunning as a fox? I'm certainly not as cunning as a fox. I don't think I have much cunning. Definitely that's not me. I wouldn't describe myself that way. But you might be different, or you might know somebody who's very good like that. I think my husband, he's kind of cunning as a fox. He kind of plays tricks, and if he wants something, he won't be afraid to get it, but he'll be sneaky about it. Okay, what else do we got? Ooh. Okay, let's get rid of the fox. What does the fox say? Okay, fox says goodbye. And as free. Okay, what could this be? Let's see, it's got some wings. It's got a beak. Whee, it can fly. What is this? As free as a, what could this be? I think this is fairly simple. I think you guys can get a good idea of what this is. Starts with a B. It rhymes with, oh, I heard the good news. I heard it's a bird. Thank you. Good job. Thank you for answering that. B-I-R-D. As free as a bird. So someone who's as free as a bird, it basically means they can do, they can go wherever they want, do whatever they want. So it basically means just like a very sort of open, free lifestyle. So for example, my sister is as free as a bird. She is as free as a bird because she likes to go on vacation when she wants to, or she might travel wherever she wants, whenever she wants. This is just an example, maybe not 100% true, but yeah, she is as free as a bird. She goes wherever she wants to, whenever she wants to. How about you? Are you as free as a bird? When I was younger, like maybe, I want to say 4 to 7 years ago, I definitely was kind of free like a bird. I was kind of traveling about, like I taught in a couple different countries and tried to travel. So, I didn't have like one home. I kind of changed up my homes. And when I wasn't working, I would like to kind of just walk around or bike around wherever I wanted. Right now, maybe not as much, not so free as a bird, but that's okay. I kind of want to settle down in one place. What about you guys? Are you as free as a bird? Or not so much? Or did you used to be as free as a bird? Do you know somebody who is as free as a bird? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, next. Oh, this might be a bit tricky. As fresh as a... Okay. So I'll give you a hint. I know many of you are going to want to say as fresh as a flower, but it's not quite the answer I'm looking for. As fresh as a... What do you think? Okay, I see someone wrote flower. Good try, thank you. But I'm looking for a type of flower, a specific flower. It starts with a D. You may or may not know the answer, but feel free to give it a try. It rhymes with lazy. Do you guys have an idea? Rhymes with lazy. The answer is Daisy. Some people have this name. I know a girl named Daisy. All right, as fresh as a daisy. So to be fresh means to be kind of like, you know, like lively, feel good, feel almost like young. You feel a bit energetic. So for example, this morning, I woke up feeling as fresh as a daisy. I think this is how we use this. This is how we use this simile the most. We tend to say, "I woke up feeling as fresh as a daisy." So this is actually not true. That's not how I felt waking up this morning. I kind of felt the opposite. I can't think of an opposite simile for this, but sometimes I feel as fresh as a daisy when I wake up in the morning. But not today. This is just an example. How about you? When you wake up in the morning, do you ever feel as fresh as a daisy? Or do you not feel as fresh as a daisy? For me, it's half and half. Sometimes I feel as fresh as a daisy. Sometimes I'm just really tired and want to go back to bed. Let me know in the comments. All right, we're going to say goodbye to our free bird. And we're going to say goodbye to our fresh daisy. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay. As tough as... Okay. Let's see if you can guess these. What are these? Typically you use these. Often you use them with a hammer when you want to build something. So this is a hammer. Two M's. Hammer. And these are called, what are these called? I'll give you a hint. We also, these here, these things on our fingers, and they're also on our toes, we call them the same thing. It starts with an N. N. What do you guys think? Any hints? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, maybe this is a bit of a new word for some of you. That's all right. The answer is nails. As tough as nails. This is a good idiom, the simile that I like to use a lot. As tough as nails. So what does that mean? It means someone, you know, they're very tough. And tough is like someone who's pretty strong. Like they could take the punches. Like they might get hit with a lot of stuff, like physically or emotionally, but they don't complain, they don't cry. They are strong and they stay tough. So for example, if someone is hiking for like 20 kilometers, they are tough. Especially if it's raining, they hike in the rain, very tough. Okay, so we could say, Judy is as tough as nails. As tough as nails. She can work in the rain for hours. As tough as nails. All right. Me, I don't know if I'm like this. Are you as tough as nails? Tell me if you're as tough as nails or not. I feel like I'm not quite, I try to be, but it's like I've tried working in the rain for hours and I get really tired and grumpy. So maybe I'm not quite as tough as nails. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can work like 4 hours in the rain. When I was doing gardening, I would work like 7, 8 hours in the rain and it was awful. It was like, oh my God. So wet, so cold, I'm so tired, gross. But my coworkers, they were as tough as nails. They didn't care, they just worked in the rain. Yeah, I need to work on this. Let me know if you're as tough as nails or if you're not, either or. Okay, what else? Okay, let's get rid of this. Farewell nails. I'm not as tough as you. Not yet, but maybe one day. Okay. So, what else? Oh yes. As light as a, okay. Ooh. Let's see if you can guess what this is. This is not the best drawing, but this is something you find from a bird. So birds can fly because they have not just wings, but they also have, starts with an F. You may or may not know this word. This might be a new vocabulary, but feel free to give it a guess if you like. I'm gonna write down the next one, but please try and see if you can guess this one. As old as the. As old as the. Okay, maybe there's some flowers here. Here's a person. And just guess what these are called. Okay, so no one's made a guess for this one, unfortunately. Maybe it's a new word, but the simile we're trying to say is as light as a feather. What does as light as a feather mean? So basically, when I say light, I'm not referring to like these kind of lights that shine on us. I'm referring to the weight of something. All right, so say for example, okay, this water bottle is really heavy. Ooh. But this pen, it's really light. So that's what I mean. I'm talking about the weight of something. So for example, I know somebody and she is only 85 pounds. That's really light. She is as light as a feather. Not literally, but you know, she's very light. Like I can pick her up really easily, no problem. I'm definitely not as light as a feather, as you can probably tell. I do have some muscle though, so you know, I can pick up my friend who's as light as a feather. So that's what it means to be as light as a feather. So you might realize that a lot of these similes, sometimes they're exaggerated. They're not always talking about the truth. Like the past simile, how I said, this girl, she's as tough as nails. Well, nails are really hard and tough. Like people are soft and fleshy. They are not actually as hard as nails. But these are like expressions, so take it with a grain of salt. Like, don't take it too literally. Okay, now, as old as the, did anyone guess what these are? They're not mountains, but they're close to mountains. I see someone wrote mountains. Good try. Thank you for guessing. The answer is actually something that begins with an H. It rhymes with Bill. Bill is in the hills. As old as the hills. So, what this means is that something is very old. Hills are old. They've been there for a long time, like millions and millions of years. These are ancient. Mountains and hills are old. So when you say something is as old as the hills, you kind of mean it's been around for a long time. So, for example, my family tradition. My family tradition of going camping every summer. Summer is, can you guess what I'm going to say? Is as old as the hills. As old as the hills. Okay, obviously this is not true. My family has not been around since the hills, but it's an expression, an exaggeration. It means we've been camping every summer for a long time. So that is what this expression means. Feel free to give it a use, give it a try. Try using it sometime when you're speaking English. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this. Bye-bye, feather. Farewell as old as the hills. Okay. I think we got a few more similes left, and then we're gonna do a little exercise. What else do we have? Let's see. 3 more left. Okay. As plain as day. As plain as. As plain as. Okay. So this means kind of like normal, straightforward, or like clear, easy to understand. As plain as, okay. Here's the sun. The birds are chirping. Usually it starts from like 8 a.m. to like 7 p.m. The opposite of night is, what is the opposite of night? That's probably an easier way to explain this. The opposite of night is, yes, day. Thank you. Very good guess. As plain as day. All right, I'm going to erase this. As plain as day. Goodbye, night. We don't need you anymore. So as plain as day means like very obvious and easy to understand. So for example, maybe my friend, she is talking with a guy. The guy likes her and it's obvious, but she doesn't know. She can't tell. So when my friend comes back, she says, I like that guy, but I don't know if he likes me. And then I could tell her, of course he likes you. It's as plain as day. Look at the way he's like looking at you and he's putting his arm on your shoulder. He definitely likes you. So that is what as plain as day means. All right. So let's do 2 more. All right. As slippery as an, all right, let's see if you can guess this animal. This might be a bit tricky to draw. It's like a fish, kind of like a fish, but it's a very long fish. Maybe it has spots on it. Okay, there we go. And what does slippery means? So slippery means it's hard to grasp. So let's say if my bottle's slippery, it's like really hard to hold on to it. Fish are slippery. If you try to hold a fish, it's really hard because the fish is really slimy and it's slippery. So what is this? It starts with an E and there's 2 more letters. You may not know this one. It lives in the ocean. Basically, the answer is as slippery as an eel. Good try, good try. So an eel, it looks like a snake, but it's a type of fish and it lives in the ocean, usually. Some live in the rivers. I've never seen an eel in real life before, except in the aquarium, but they're pretty cool animals. So what does as slippery as an eel mean? It means this means it's someone you can't trust. So I guess it's kind of similar to the cunning thing I told you about. In fact, I got a new example actually. All right, I'm gonna write out an example for you. So let's say there's a criminal, he's in jail, but he somehow got out, he escaped. That criminal is as slippery as an eel. He escaped from prison. Escaped from prison. So it also implies that maybe the criminal is very difficult to catch because he's so good at getting away. He's so sneaky and kind of dangerous. So that is what as slippery as an eel means. How about you? Are you as slippery as an eel? Or do you know anybody who's as slippery as an eel? I'm definitely not as slippery as an eel. I'm the opposite. I feel like I'm clumsy and easy to catch. I cannot get away with that kind of stuff. I'm definitely not as slippery as an eel. Okay, I think we have one more simile, and then we're gonna move on to a little bit of an exercise. Okay, last one. As stubborn as a mule. Okay. As stubborn as a. Okay. So this is the animal. This is not a very good picture. It's not a rabbit. I know it kind of looks like a rabbit, but it's similar to a horse. Okay. So this animal, stubborn. So what does stubborn mean? So let's say, for example, somebody is trying to get this animal to go over here, but the donkey doesn't want to go over there. He's like, nuh-uh, I don't want to go over there. I think I want to stay here. I'm fine here. I'm not following you. That is what stubborn means. It means you want to do something your own way, not somebody else's way. So, do you guys know what this animal is? It starts with an M. It's a cross between a horse and a donkey, if you know what a donkey is. Think of Shrek. Shrek's best friend is a donkey. So, a cross between a horse and a donkey is a... Oh, I see someone said mule. That is correct. Good job. Mule, as stubborn as a mule. So for example, my husband, he is as stubborn as a mule. If I tell him he should do something a certain way, he'll be like, I'm gonna do it my own way. So let's say he breaks something, for example. And I say, okay, you broke this glass. Maybe you should put some newspaper around it and put it in the garbage. He'll be like, nah, I'll just sweep it up and put it straight in the garbage. It's fine. And I tell him, no, wrap it in newspaper. He'll be like, I'm fine. He is as stubborn as a mule. What about you? Are you as stubborn as a mule? What do you think? Sometimes I am a bit stubborn, but not as bad as my husband, for example. He can be very stubborn sometimes. Let me know if you're stubborn as a mule or not. Okay, so that is it for our similes and adjectives. So now what I'd like us to do is I'd like you to pull out this sheet, please. We only have 10 minutes of class left, but we're going to go over as few of these, as many of these as we can. Some of these you're going to know already. So please pull this out and let's look at number 1 together. Number 1 has already been done for us, and hopefully you remember blind as a bat. So that means you can't see. Bats usually, they have poor eyesight, so you're like a bat, you can't see. Blind as a bat. And then you'll see they ticked off blind. All right, let's do number 2. We just did this one a few minutes ago. As something as an eel. Remember I drew this guy, the water snaky looking guy? So take a look at all the adjectives here. And please tell me which adjective should we put in this blank. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about that, and please type out the answer. In the meantime, I'm going to write down number 3 and number 4 okay. This one might be tricky, but let's give it a try anyway. As something as a bell. Number 4, as blank as a feather. And number 5. Any guesses for this one? Oh, I see someone wrote as slippery. Very good. Thank you. As slippery as an eel. Excellent. Thank you so much, Angela. I knew you would pull through. Good stuff. Okay. Number 3 might be kind of tricky, so don't worry if you didn't get number 3, because we didn't go over number 3 and we didn't do bell. If you know number 4 though, feel free to do number 4. Number 3 is as clear as a bell. So this means you can hear it really easily. So for example, my singing teacher's voice is as clear as a bell. I can hear her really well. Number 4, I think you might be able to do this because we already did this one like about 5 minutes ago. As something as a feather. So remember I told you about my friend, 85 pounds. I can lift her really easy. She's not heavy, the opposite of heavy. Okay, I'm gonna write down number 5, but try to fill in number 4 if you can. As blank as a bee. And number 6, as, we also did this one earlier, as the hills. Okay. And yes, number 4, as light as a feather. Thank you so much. Well done. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay. Now, do you remember number 5? Bzzz. Bees are always they're always making honey. They're flying flower to flower. I gave the example of my little sister. She's always she's doing this, she's doing that, she's skiing, she's working, she's cooking, she's walking her dog. It's kind of the opposite of lazy, kind of. But yeah, it starts with a B. I'll let you figure the rest out. And yes, as busy as a bee. Thank you so much. Good stuff, good stuff. You're ace in this quiz so far. And number 6, so the hills. Remember I told you that, yes, okay, I don't have to tell you anymore. You got it, as old as the hills. Good job. All right, thanks, Angela. You're ace in this. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at a few more. How much time do we have? Okay, we got 6 minutes. 7, okay. As blank As a daisy. Okay, remember I was telling you guys when I wake up in the morning, I feel as a daisy. And number 8. Oh, we didn't do this one, but I'll give you a hint. As a mouse. Okay. So number 8. Shh. That is my hint. Okay, so try to do number 7 and number 8. And I'm going to write out number 9. As blank as a fox. Okay. Goodbye, busy bee. Goodbye, old hills. Okay. All right, so keep trying to guess these ones, guys. This one started with an F. And let's see, this one starts with a Q. That might make it too obvious. And this one starts with a C. Okay, try to guess 7, 8, and 9. Let's see, fresh, you got it. Thank you, Angela. Pew, pew, good job. Okay, 10. Oh, we just did this one. As something, as a mule, which is a donkey horse cross. Okay. Now, I know I didn't teach you this one today, but I feel like I taught you in the past. So a mouse is so tiny. When it walks, it's very, what adjective do you think this is? Try and guess. And the fox. This one we did today, a little earlier back. Let me see if you can guess. Ends with ing. I'll leave it at that. And then this one, I used my husband. Oh, he's like a mule. He wants to do things his own way. He doesn't listen to me. So let's see if you can guess number 10. And there's 2 number 10s there's supposed to be. Okay. As a dog. Okay. All right. I don't see any guesses for this one, but good try. The answer is as quiet as a mouse. Basically, it means you're very quiet. Mice are very quiet creatures. And no answers for the fox? Obstinate. Oh, was that for the fox or for the mule? I think it was for the mule. Obstinate, it's good. That, like, technically that is correct, but the word I'm looking for is stubborn. But if you say obstinate, that is okay too, because obstinate and stubborn are very, very similar words. So this is a lot more common, but if you say he's as obstinate as a mule, people probably understand. This is just the way we typically say it. Good shot though, good try, thank you. That's still an awesome answer. So for the fox, the answer is cunning. Yeah, oh, you got it, okay. I was just moving too fast. Good job, Angela. Cunning as a fox, thank you, thank you. All right, this one we did not cover today, but I feel like I talked about this like maybe last week, so I'm going to give you a hint. Okay, this is me after eating some really bad food. Maybe I ate some very bad sushi or pizza and like blah, 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 blah. Uh-oh, what's wrong with me? I'm something. I'm not well. What's another word for not well? How do you feel if you eat some rotten food? You feel as a dog. See if you can give it a guess. So the answer is, I am as sick as a dog. Blech. Yes, oh, okay, you got it. Thank you, Angela. Yes, I am as sick as a dog. It means to be very sick. Like you really do not feel good. So this is another simile that we use pretty often. I was as sick as a dog last month actually when I got food poisoning. Not fun. Okay guys, we have come up to our second break now. So we're gonna give you a 10-minute rest, and afterwards I would like to work on our assignment description. So get this ready. If we have time, we'll finish up the similes, but this is what we're gonna focus on for the next class. Okay, have a nice break and see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you. All right, yes. Hello guys, welcome back. Okay, we are in the last leg of our Monday class. How you doing? Are you doing all right? I know Monday's a little bit of a slog sometimes because we got a lot of grammar and vocabulary to cover, plus the assignment rules and explanations. But thank you for hanging in there and bearing with me. We're almost done, so hang on for this last 50 minutes. Okay, I just want to point out, so I was looking through some of the similes from the big list that we have, and I did find actually, as obstinate as a mule, it is a common simile. I don't hear it as often. I hear stubborn as a mule more often, but technically this is actually a simile. So my apologies that I made the mistake. So this is technically correct. There's just two different ways to say it. As obstinate as a mule, as stubborn as a mule, totally up to you, whichever one you want to use. Okay, so let's get rid of that. My mistake again about that. So, assignment time. Time to explain. Okay, so as you can see up here, our weekly assignment is superlative stories. What does that mean? Well, as you can see, you may have already given this a read over, but we want you to tell us a story. It can be the scariest story. That's something like the scariest thing that happened to you. It could be the happiest thing that happened to you. It could be the most awful thing that happened to you. It could be the funniest thing that happened to you. It could be the craziest thing that happened to you. It could be anything. And if you're really having a hard time thinking of a story or something that happened to you, you can make up a story if you need to and pretend that something happened. But if you can, try to think of something that actually happened to you. And I think it'll be pretty fun if you try to write it out. Okay, so there's a few rules for this story. So I'm gonna write out the rules. Okay, it's not the best pen. Let's go try this one. Okay, so here are the requirements or rules. I gotta write them out in a nice, neat little box here. Okay, first, I want you to try to use 10 adjectives. So this is our grammar. 10 adjectives. So, for example, bigger or biggest, slower, slowest, better, best, for example. So this is kind of more of like a grammar point. So try, if you can, please try to use some comparatives and superlatives. I'm going to give you some examples as I give my story to you in a bit. So try to do this 10 times. Try to use 10 different adjectives. All right, and what's the other rule? 5 vocab. So that is simile. So as a blank. So for example, as slippery as an eel, as cunning as a fox, bleh, as sick as a dog. So I want you to try and use 5 of these. If you're having trouble thinking of some, where did it go? This list could help you out. So please feel free to look at this list if you need help thinking of some good vocabulary to use. So try to do this 5 times, all right? Okay, and what was the other rule? Oh, yes. 4 to 5 paragraphs, please. Paragraphs. Okay, So I've been noticing with the writing, sometimes it's been a little too short, and I would like to see your assignment be a little bit longer, please. So I'm gonna show you an example of my assignment. So I actually did this assignment and I typed it out on the computer. This is my assignment. So I'll show you what I've done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is what 4 to 5 paragraphs might look like. So please try to make something about this long. It could be 4 paragraphs or it could be 5 paragraphs. It's up to you. And obviously my 4th paragraph is the longest. Don't know what happened. They're like, it's fine. You can decide which paragraphs are bigger or longer, which ones are shorter. But I have an introduction and I have a conclusion. And usually the introduction and conclusion are the shortest. See what I did there? I used a superlative. So these are the shortest, and then these are the body paragraphs. They are longer than the introduction and the conclusion. So just keep that in mind. Try to put an introduction and a conclusion in, and you already got 2 paragraphs done. And then for your body, try to keep it like 2 to 3 paragraphs long, okay? Okay, so I hope that's not too difficult for you to like try and make it that long, but give it a try, okay? And please remember to put spaces between your paragraphs, like this, space, space, new paragraph, new paragraph, new paragraph. Okay, so don't fret. I'm going to tell you my story, and I'm going to go over kind of step by step how I made this and how you can make something similar too. All right, let me know if you have any questions about these rules or anything. The rules should be on here. They should be listed out pretty clearly, so please do try to follow the instructions. And this will be due on Wednesday. Before class if you can. Okay. I apologize if I've been a little bit slow getting the marking finished, but I'm trying to get it done quick. So if I haven't quite finished marking everything, my apologies, but it'll get done soon, I promise. So try to hand this in on Wednesday before class if you can. Okay, so I'm going to erase these rules because I think we're pretty clear on what to do. But again, if you have any questions, just let me know anytime before the end of class today. Okay, dokie. What should I do? Shall I read my story first? Or shall I write out the whole story? Okay, so, all right, I'm going to, first, I'll read out my story. I'm going to read my story to you first, and then I'm going to write most of it out. Not all of it, but I'm going to write most of it out. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you a story about the scariest thing that ever happened to me. This story happened to me and my husband, who was my boyfriend back then, 7 years ago in the summer of 2013 in North Vancouver. So that was my introduction. Okay, here we go. So my boyfriend and I were on a date that evening. We went on a picnic in the park and then went to watch the wiener dog races at the PST Fair in Vancouver. It was the best date we had been on together, and I was as happy as a lark. My boyfriend was driving me back home after the date, but when we got to North Vancouver, we were having so much fun that we didn't want to say goodbye yet. So what did we do? We decided so my boyfriend, he parked his car next to a park, and we decided to stay there longer and talk a bit. We thought, oh, let's get out of the car and let's go walk around the park for a bit. But just as my boyfriend was about to open the car door, he suddenly saw something move in front of our car about 20 meters away from us. When he saw that, he turned as pale as a ghost. Right there in front of us was the biggest bear we had ever seen in real life. It had fur as black as coal and claws as sharp as razors. It looked at us for a moment, and then it started walking closer and closer to us. Oh my God, it's coming right towards us! I screamed loudly. I think I screamed the loudest I had ever screamed in a long time. My boyfriend got more and more scared. So he honked his car horn at the bear. Honk, honk! And then he flicked the car lights on and off to scare it. But the bear kept coming closer and closer to the car. My boyfriend honked the car louder. Honk! After that, the bear stopped coming towards us. Then, as quick as lightning, my boyfriend pulled away from the parking lot and drove me home the rest of the way. Bears might be fast, but a car can drive much faster than a bear can run. So we knew we were probably safe. Whew, I'm not sure who was more scared, me or my boyfriend. It was certainly the most frightening encounter either of us had had with wildlife, though. We hope we will never run into something as scary as that bear ever again, though. Okay, and that is my story. So this is a true story. It actually happened to us in 2013. What did you think of the story? Was it scary? Was it the scariest story you've ever heard? Probably not. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did to write out something similar to this. And I'd like you to try this with your assignment too. Okay, so first we have our introduction. So this part of your story is short. When you write out your introduction, I'd like you to write, so think about who did it happen to? When did it happen? Of course, what happened? And where did it happen? So try to answer that in your introduction. So, for example, where's my pen? There's my pen. Okay, so here's what I wrote. Today, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you a story about the scariest thing that happened to me. Okay, so I answered the what. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the scariest thing that happened to me. Oh, and superlative. So this is this is part of vocabulary. So, oh sorry, not vocab, grammar. Okay, so remember grammar adjectives. Remember, I want 10. So here's one, the scariest thing that happened to me. Okay. So, this black pen just does not love me today. All right. This happened to me and my then boyfriend, now husband. I'm too lazy to write that out. 7 years ago. So who did it happen to? Me and my boyfriend. When did it happen? 7 years ago in the summer of 2013 in North Vancouver. Period. Okay, so I have answered my what. I've answered my who, me and my then boyfriend. When, 7 years ago in the summer of 2013. And where, North Vancouver. So that is what your introduction could talk about. Just kind of introduced all the things, like just the very basic details. Don't jump to the end of the story though, okay? Keep it a mystery. Okay, so that is how you could start your introduction. Do make sure you introduce your superlative here. Like, what kind of story are you doing? Is it the scariest thing that happened to you? The funniest thing? The most awful thing? The craziest thing? The saddest thing? The happiest thing? Please talk about what superlative your story has, okay? So mine is the scariest thing. What about you guys? I'd like you to think about it now if you could, or sleep on it tonight at least. Okay, so I'm going to erase the intro because there's no way I can fit my whole story on this board in one go. Okay, so that is the introduction. Some might say the introduction is like one of the hardest things to write. But now you know what you're gonna write about. You're gonna start talking about what exactly happened. Oh my God, this pen is hard to erase. Okay, I'm not using you again. Oy, get off. Okay, this pen is no good. Bye-bye. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to switch to blue, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so here's my second paragraph. Second paragraph. Doo, doo, doo. All right, so let's see how I start. So I'm gonna shorten what I told you. So my BF, short for boyfriend, went on a date in Vancouver. We saw blah, 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 and we blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna write everything out because it's gonna get really long and boring for you to sit here and just keep watching. So we basically saw the wiener dog races at the PNE. We went out for dinner. We had a picnic in the park. All right, pay attention here. It was the best. All right, so here I used a superlative. Another grammar. It was the best date we had yet, and I was as happy as a lark. Okay, so we didn't explain this simile earlier, but basically this means to be very happy. A lark is a type of bird. I don't hear this idiom super often, so don't worry about memorizing this. This is just what I put in my story for you today. Okay, so that is my second paragraph. Again, I kept it short. Yours, please don't, obviously don't do that. Please try to make it a bit longer. This is just a very brief example. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, don't forget to put transitional phrases and words. And you know what these are, I think. So you could say, so, also, additionally, in addition, as well as, plus. There's so many more. You have a list from a few weeks ago. So, but I think you recall some of these. And like, however, but, unfortunately, these are contrasting ones. So yeah, remember to try and use these transitional phrases in your story as well. I'm going to try to put a few in as an example. Okay, so that was my second paragraph. So I'm going to erase this. So I've kind of set the story up here. I'm like, okay, my boyfriend and I, we just got back from our date. We had a wonderful day. I stuck my adjectives and I stuck my similes in there. Okay, I'm gonna write down similes. Similes 5. So similes is more of a squiggly line. Okay. What is my next paragraph? Let's see. Let's see. So here's my third. My boyfriend was driving me back home after the date, but, transitional phrase, but we didn't want to separate yet. We didn't want to say goodbye to each other. So, another transitional phrase. So, my boyfriend parked his car next to a park so we could chat longer. Okay, and here is another adjective example. Long, longer, longest. All right, so, I'm not done yet, pardon me. Okay, so, just as, here's another good transitional phrase. Just as my boyfriend was about to open the car door, he saw something move in front of us. Then, another transitional phrase, then he turned as white as a ghost. This is another simile that we did not study today. Again, don't worry. You don't have to know what this means. But to turn white as a ghost means you turn really pale, maybe because you're super scared of something. So this is where my boyfriend, or my husband, this is when he sees the bear. So he is really spooked and scared. So that is what this means. So this is my third paragraph. And basically I stuck in a few more adjectives and another simile. And I've used a few transitional phrases as well. Take note. So there's another little transitional phrase, just as, then. So yeah, don't forget to try and put some little transitional words and phrases in there, okay? Okay, so we're halfway through my story now. We're doing good? All right, now again, let me know if you have any questions about this, and definitely let me know in the next 20 minutes so I can answer them. Because I think I won't be teaching tomorrow. It's going to be Alan. So if you do have questions for Alan, that's totally fine too. If you can't get to me today with your question. But I am happy, excuse me, Sorry, something in my throat. I am happy to answer any questions you might have regarding the assignment or the grammar or the vocabulary or whatever. Okay, so what is the next part of my paragraph? Okay, this is the long part. So, fourth paragraph. So, oh boy, right there in front of us was the biggest, scariest bear we had ever seen. Woo, intense stuff. Okay, so I got whoops, wrong color. Pardon me. Here we have two grammar adjectives. Big, bigger, biggest. Scary, scarier, scariest. Okay. Let's see, what else do we say about this? Okay, oh, this bear. So the bear had fur as black as coal and claws as sharp as razors. Okay, so I have two similes in there. So I'm knocking off the simile count pretty quickly. Okay. As black as coal. So as black as coal just means very black. And I'm not sure if you know what coal is, but you use it when you want to burn a fire. So sometimes when you want to have a fire, you might put some coals and then you can have like a nice toasty, roasty, toasty fire. All right, so fur as black as coals and claws as sharp as razors. Ooh, so it just means very sharp claws. So you don't want to make the bear mad or it's gonna whoosh, it's gonna slice you and it's gonna hurt real bad. Okay, so that is I think that is the majority of my paragraph. I'm gonna write a little tiny bit more of this paragraph. Let's see, okay, I don't wanna write the whole thing out because it's long. Okay, so my boyfriend honked the car horn to scare the bear, but it kept coming closer and closer to us. Woof. All right, and here is another adjective, closer and closer. And then here's like another transitional word, but it kept coming closer and closer to us. So, my boyfriend honked louder. Louder. So there's another adjective and another transitional phrase. So my boyfriend honked louder. Okay, I'm not gonna write out the last part, but basically, I think you remember, the bear ran away after my boyfriend kept honking the car horn louder and louder. Eventually the bear got scared and it stopped coming towards us. All right, so that's my fourth paragraph. Just pretend I've written down here, the bear walked away. All right, that's it. I've pretty much finished my story. Now I just want to write out a conclusion. So what could a conclusion look like? I'm going to erase this. All right, bye-bye, bear. See ya never again. Ooh. Well, this blue pen isn't so easy to erase either. Have you guys ever seen a bear before? With your own eyes? Real close to you? It's kind of scary. Okay. All right, my final paragraph, conclusion. Okay, I think I can go back to writing in black. Let's see, conclusion. So again, your conclusion can be short. So with your conclusion, maybe, let's see, what could you talk about? So maybe you could talk about how you felt, perhaps. Or like any other reflections. Or you could say why, like why it was the scariest thing that happened to you. Why was the bear so scary? You could talk about that in your conclusion. Okay, so I'm gonna write out my conclusion. I'm not sure who was more scared. All right, so there is another adjective, more scared. Me or my boyfriend. However, another transitional phrase here. However, it was definitely the most frightening. That's another way to say scary. It was the most frightening, another adjective, encounter I ever had with wildlife. I hope it never happens again. I hope it never happens again. Okay, so that's my conclusion. So I basically just kind of close it off by talking about maybe how I felt. So I kind of talked about, I don't know who is more scared, me or my husband, but it was really scary. I don't want it to happen ever again. Okay, so that is what a conclusion could look like. And you could kind of answer some of these or one of these in your conclusion. You don't have to do this. It's just a suggestion that I have for you if you want to think of a nice way to end your story. Okay, so that is basically what I hope to see out of your assignment. Something kind of similar to this. And again, something about this length is good. Like about half a page or like 3/4 of a page. Please don't make it super short, like only half of this. Try to make it at least half of a page, okay? And remember, try to use your transitional phrases. Try to use grammar adjectives. So, you know, like this, comparatives and superlatives. And for your vocabulary similes, try to use 5. Okay, once again, if you are having trouble thinking of some grammar, like which adjectives to use, you could refer to this. This list has so many adjectives and it has their comparative and superlative form. So this can really help you if you are stuck on what to do for the adjectives. And once again, for similes, vocabulary similes, here is another big list. You can use some ideas from here if you like. Now remember, you only need 5. You only need to use 5. This is where it might get a little bit tricky, but do your best, okay? Okay, so that is it for the assignment. For the last 15 minutes, since we're pretty much done with the assignment part, I thought maybe let's go back to this. Let's finish this. So I would like you to pull out the similes using as ... as. We're gonna finish off this little quiz activity and yeah, have some fun with it. So please pull that out while I erase the board. Okay. Okay. I hope I was able to explain the assignment clearly enough for you guys. And I look forward to reading your stories, your superlative stories. And I'll try to get those marked by the end of this week. All right, we're all clear. All right, we ready? What do we have here? Oh, how appropriate. We just talked about this animal. Okay, this is not a simile I taught you in the second half of class, but it's as something as a bear. We just talked about bears. Okay, so I'm going to give you a hint. When you want to eat something, oh man, I want to eat a hamburger. I want to eat French fries. I want to eat pizza. Oh my God, I need to eat. I am so... Okay, I gave you a hint. I'm going to leave that blank and let you fill it in. Number 13. This is another one that we also didn't do. And this might be a little tricky. All right. What is the opposite of strong? Okay, so think of the opposite of strong. This is strong. You can lift anything. You're powerful. And the opposite is, I can't lift this piece of paper. I'm so, Okay, it begins with a W. The opposite of strong. So think about number 12 and number 13. Try to fill them in within the next few minutes if you can. Okay, and number 14. So number 14, I taught you earlier today as something as day. Okay, starts with a P. So that's my hint. And any guesses for 12? The answer is, I don't see anyone answering, so the answer is as hungry as a bear. So basically it means you are very, very hungry. Actually, right now, I think I'm almost as hungry as a bear. I'm ready for dinner. How about you? Are you as hungry as a bear, or are you okay? You're not hungry at all, or just a little bit hungry. Okay. And this one, the opposite of strong is, oh, I saw somebody wrote weak. Thank you very much. That is the answer. As weak as a kitten. All right, a kitten, a baby cat, they are not strong. They are very weak. They're tiny. They can't really do much. So to be as weak as a kitten, not the nicest compliment, put it that way. And number 14, I'm going to let you figure that out. And number 15, I'm going to write out. So number 15, I taught you earlier as a bird. Okay. And 16, let's see, what do we got? Okay. This one I didn't teach you. I wish I did because it's kind of common. As something as an ox. An ox is a big cow, essentially. Okay, so no guesses for this one? This one was as plain as day. Remember when I told you guys earlier about the guy who was flirting with my friend? And she's like, I don't know if he likes me. And I said, he totally likes you. Look, he's flirting with you. It's as plain as day that he likes you. So I hope you remember that example. All right, and what about this one? This one I think I gave the example of my sister, not like a really true example, but I'm as a bird. Starts with F. I'll leave that there for you. And this one, So an ox, it's a big cow, so it's going to be very, starts with an S. I will leave that there for you as well. And I'm going to erase these three. Please try and guess number 15 and 16 in the next couple of minutes. All right, what else do we have? Oh, okay, this is another one I didn't teach you, unfortunately. There's so many similes, it's hard to teach all of them in one day. As a beet. Okay. You guys, not sure if you know what a beet is, but it's a vegetable, and typically it's red. It's a red vegetable. Usually it's in the ground. Okay, so that is number 17. As something as a beet. Think of the color. That's my hint. Think of the color. Color. Okay, and 18. As something as a kite. Okay, so when kites are flying in the air, they are the opposite of low. Okay, so the opposite of low is, I'd like you to try and fill in this part on your own. I think you guys can do it. And number 19. Okay. This one I put into my assignment, but unfortunately I didn't teach it to you before. Okay, so remember, a lark is a type of bird. So, the opposite of sad is, I think that should be pretty simple. Okay, so I see somebody wrote as free as a bird, thank you. And I see somebody wrote high as a, I'm going to assume you said as a kite, and that is correct. Thank you so much. As high as a kite. So as high as a kite, like when you're high, you're kind of like in a good mood. You're really happy. So that is what as high as a kite refers to. All right. And nobody went for this one, unfortunately. The answer was as strong as an ox. As an ox. So as strong as an ox means you're very strong. It's a pretty common idiom. I feel bad that I didn't teach it sooner, sorry. Good idiom though, good idiom. Try to keep this one in mind. Strong as an ox. Are you as strong as an ox? I'm not as strong as an ox, but I'm not as weak as a kitten. I'm somewhere in the middle. Okay. What about this one? I think I gave a pretty good hint. As what color is this? This is as, okay, somebody wrote red, thank you. As red as a beet, absolutely. So, to be as red as a beet, there could be two meanings. So, for example, if you get sunburned, like when I go into the sun, I turn really red. I get really bad sunburns. I turn as red as a beet. So also, this can happen to you when you're embarrassed or really angry. Your face can turn really red when you're like really embarrassed or angry. So you could say, oh, I was so embarrassed when I went up on stage to talk in front of 100 people. I turned as red as a beet. I was so embarrassed. So that is what red as a beet means. What about you guys? When you go into the sun, do you turn as red as a beet? I do. Every time I go into the sun, even for 10 minutes, I turn red. It's not fun. It's kind of awful, actually. Don't erase that yet. And yeah, we got as high as a kite. And here we have as happy as a lark. That's okay. Nobody answered that one, but that's fine. Okay, 20 and 21. All right, got 5 minutes left. Let's make it count. Let's see. as something as clockwork. Okay, this is another one I didn't teach you, unfortunately. As something as a rock. Okay, let me just check something. Clockwork. Okay, so this one starts with an R, and so this word basically means it's similar to normal. So think of another word that is similar to the meaning of normal. It's a flavor of chips you can get at the supermarket, actually. Just simple chips with a bit of salt. Okay, and this one is the opposite of soft. What is the opposite of soft? For example, this table, it's not soft, it is. I'll let you try and figure that one out on your own. So let's get rid of the beat. Being high as a kite and happy as a lark. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one I taught you earlier. As blank as nails. Woof, that was very bad spelling. Okay. All right, so I think you remember the little picture I drew you, and I told you about a girl, she's as nails. So see if you can remember this one. And two more. This is another one I didn't teach you. As something as a rose. So for example, candy is, what does candy taste like? Is it sour? Is it bitter? Is it spicy? Or is it something else? I'll let you think about that. And last one, 24. Whew. As something as gold. All right. So we got 3 minutes left, guys. So come on and try and get your answers in. I see someone has put as regular. Thank you. Good job. Regular flavor of chips, the most boring flavor. As regular as clockwork. This is actually a simile I've never heard, so not very important, I think. And 21, and opposite of soft is, yes, I see someone wrote hard. Thank you very much. As hard as a rock. This table is as hard as a rock. My muscles are not as hard as a rock. They are soft. Okay, 22. No guesses, even though we did this earlier. Starts with a T. Tough. Good try, guys. As tough as nails. Okay, and 23. Candy is, yes, I see someone wrote a rose. Sweet as a rose. For example, my husband is as sweet as a rose. He always does really nice things for me. Good guy, good guy. Okay, and last one. We only have one word left in our box here, and the answer is indeed as good as gold. Gold is like one of the best things in the world, so obviously it is good. All right, so that is it. We have reached the end of our lesson for today. Sorry, I kind of had to blast through that really quickly. I just wanted to make sure we had all the answers in there. So, just a reminder, don't forget that your writing assignment is due on Wednesday before class. And please try to do, 5 similes. These are some similes, for example. Try to do 10 points of grammar with the adjectives. And if you have any questions, you could probably talk to Alan tomorrow because he'll be teaching tomorrow's class. And I'll be back on Wednesday to teach you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and for your participation. I hope you had a fun time, and we will see you on Wednesday. Have a good night. Goodbye. Woo!